morning, good evening, and good night, everybody. I'm Christomatic.
And I'm the Bear.
And we are Learning to Game.
Game.
Today, we will be learning you a wonderful game, beautiful game about space, ships, dead engine, tractor beams, and a gravity rift. The name of the game is called
Gravwell.
Second Edition. Let's learn you the game. This is the game. We just set it up for all you beautiful people to see. Look at this beautiful board. Stunning, amazing, space, galaxy, beautiful.
This is the general idea behind the game. We are spaceships that have been caught in a black hole. We have to spend the different types of cards that we're given as a fuel source, different elements, to put into our engine to have it do different things to get us to go to the end of the course.
Yep, our engines are kaputted, they are malfunctioning,
Yes.
so we have tractor beams that we pull from our ship to the closest object next to us.
Indeed.
The blue cards pull you towards an object, the purple cards pull all objects towards you.
Well, the orange card also affects other ships. It repulses everyone away from it. These are called repulsor beams. And the red one is for your ship. It pushes you away from the nearest gravity source, which can be anything from another ship to one of the pieces of space debris. Those are the things that have gravity fields.
Exactly. But how you determine how far you go is the number on top of the card. This one is a 9. The one he's showing right now is a 2. And let's say I played the 9 and the bear played the 2. We then go to determine who moves first by the letter. So you count through the alphabet, or if you know the alphabet so perfectly by memory, you can just go S, T. Which one comes first?
S.
S. All right,
Yeah,
S comes first.
1, 2, 3, 4, S. Yes.
Okay, I was going to count through the whole thing. Let's go. A, B, C. Okay, we're not doing that. But I would go first, so I would move. I'm blue. I would move 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
At the beginning of the game, I don't have a gravity field around
Yes.
me if I'm in here, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
If you're in the outside or the inside of the work gate, if you are inside it, you have no gravity field, so you don't affect other ships.
Absolutely.
Now, I moved 9 to the closest object, which was a debris field.
Now, I'm a red ship, so, and since I have the 2, and if there's no one else that has another letter, of course, just us two, we're going to pull this ship towards the next closest source of gravity, which is his weird-looking blue ship there, and I'm going to move 2. I am far behind.
Now, we discard our cards and we play the next card. This is where the issue comes in for me, the person in first place. I have a bunch of blue cards, and I also have a purple card. If I play a blue card, I will move towards the red player because he is closest. So 5, 7, 7, or 8, I'll move towards him. If I play this one pull, I pull him forward 1. How would I be able to move forward? I either have something that repulses me from the closest object, or I would play my 7V, which is a very, very late letter. That in turn gives him the chance to pass me before I go.
But since when we play these games, cards, we play them face down.
Exactly.
We don't know what we're playing, so we both reveal at the same time. In my case, I played a higher letter of E, so I'm going to move 5 towards...
And now,
opponent.
my problem is I am next, and I will go 7 backwards.
Because I'm the closest one, too.
That is where the difference between Gravwell First Edition and Gravwell Second Edition, the big difference comes in play. Not only is it more players, it also has special abilities for each ship. Everybody, however, has an emergency stop.
The first version of the game has these abilities in them, but the asymmetry of the new version of the game, not only it adds an extra set of players, it adds an extra 2 players, but also has individual cards which give you special powers.
Yes. Everybody has the emergency stop card that was shown, which, as it says, instead of resolving your fuel card, discard it and move 0 spaces instead. I would have to do that. I would use it by flipping it over to the uncharged side. Now, everybody has an emergency stop that is the same thing. However, as we mentioned, every ship has different special abilities that charge differently as well. So make sure you read what is on your special cards to see. As this one says, pass or land on the Merton Cloud, which is this area of the board.
Space.
He has to pass it or land it and it becomes charged. And everyone has different abilities, different cards do different things. Everyone's different ships do different things.
Read your cards. Know your cards.
Yes, because if you miss a time that it charges, you miss the charge, which is not fun. So always pay attention. Furthermore, if you do not use your emergency stop for an entire round, which is your entire hand gets used up, and you don't use an emergency stop, you get to charge one of your cards for free. Now, we played through an entire round. All our cards are used up. Now we go into the draft phase of the game to get a new hand.
Starting between the 2nd to the 6th round at the beginning, we don't get 6 cards at the beginning of the turn, but we draft. So we set up a draft pool depending on how many players there are. The draft pool usually consists of 2 hidden cards down, 1 hidden card up per person. That's in the game.
Yep.
So
there are 2 rules. You can play with 2 cards down, 1 card up, or you can play with 1 card down and 2 cards up. However, personally, the more difficult challenge, because you don't know what you're mining underneath what's there, and what I think is a better way to play is 1 card up, 2 cards down.
Me too.
And how we choose who picks would be the closest person to the Merton Cloud.
Which is precisely halfway through
Yes.
the game. It's the midpoint of the entire board, but this is where you determine who gets the what they call mining first.
Yes. If there is a tie, then it's whoever is in the direction of the most objects on the board. So this way there's 1, 2, 3 objects. This way there's only 1 object.
That's also how the cards are influenced too. So if you're stuck between somebody, exactly in between them, it's the area that has the closest other gravity sources between them. Here's an example.
For example, right
See?
here, red is stuck between blue and the debris field or the space junk. So if he plays a card, it wouldn't determine by closest, it would be determined by most objects, which would be towards the blue player.
Absolutely.
And this comes into play biggest, not in a 2-player game, but in a 4 or plus. It can go up to 6-player game. Now imagine there are 6 ships all in one area. If you don't boost yourself up in front, it's a bunch of back and forth and timing of when do I play this? Do I play it first? Do I play it second? Do I play it last?
Strategy goes out the window.
Yes.
This game is chaos. So especially with a 4 or higher player game, which has half of the ships starting in the center, the other half starting at the end point, each one trying to pass each other to get to the other side. So that's pretty much the game in a nutshell. You go through turn 6. It's whoever is closest to their goal at the end of the game wins if you haven't already gotten to the end. It's first person to the end.
Yes, exactly.
So,
and that can happen a lot more than you can think, even though there are 6 rounds and you have 6 cards per round. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of happening where, I'm going to play the middle card, an M card, an M5, and 3 people could go before you, and it changes everything you were doing.
Chaos.
That comes in the strategy part of your special abilities. Try and charge them as much as you can, because these will help you immeasurably in this game. When we played a 6-player game, I won just because I always tried my best to keep my abilities charged and pay attention, and it was able to, as a red player, redirect certain tractor beams that were affecting me or that I played, and I was able to boost in front of everybody, and then at the very end, make it there before the whole complication happened. But that is Gravwell 2nd edition.
Ultimately, can you escape the gravity well? Or Gravwell
2nd edition. So we just showed you the review of how to play Gravwell 2nd edition. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments about what you thought of the game, what you would want to do if you bought this game, and you should definitely go buy this game, by the way.
Well, what do you think?
I loved it. I love games with chaos, honestly. I love games that constantly change. So I believe a 6-player version of this, which I played once before, with you, actually, at a game store, was wonderful. I loved it. Even though I did win, but that doesn't consider why I love it. If I lost, I would have loved it too, because it seems like there's no strategy, but there is of when to play the cards, how far you move, and what cards to play, letter-wise, color-wise, and abilities.
Mm-hmm. This game is a decent strategy game. I just, for me, the chaos can be a little bit much.
Okay.
In the 6-player game, you had no real reason to play any one particular card, sort of, unless you were way out in front of somebody. If the other ships were influencing you so much, if you played a card, you had no idea where you're going to end up at the end of that turn.
But that is where you are 100% correct.
Yeah.
That is where it happened to me a few times. How I got ahead, as I mentioned, was my special abilities. Yeah. As long as they're charged, or you get them charged, it can be good. I do think, though, 6 rounds sometimes cannot be... Like, I can see how that cannot be long enough.
Right.
In a chaotic game where you look at the cards, okay, I'm going to play this 6 times, flip it through. Yeah. You can still be stuck in a jumble. And that would leave it up to chance who wins. But I believe if you would play this a little longer, if that happened, you could get that strategy and get the cards. And the biggest thing is getting those cards recharged. Yeah. To win the game in a clump. Because some people just completely go off the board where they don't affect anybody. Some people, as the red player does, redirects abilities. Yeah. The blue player has some crazy things where he can choose when to go no matter what card he plays. Right. And of course...
Time type.
Exactly.
Type skills, yeah.
And of course, emergency stop, which we all know what it does.
Man, well, when you get in a hole, you can really get in a hole.
You get sucked in. It's like a Gravwell.
But also... Hey. And before you know it, someone's won.
Yes, that is true.
And, I mean, you can all kind of get close, but then he'll play a really big card, and then he's won.
Yep. How I won last game was I was kind of stuck towards the end. I was going inside, and the people that were going outside, the 3 players, 2 of them were really close to finishing, but I was able to play my super card, which made me win. Or not my super card, one of my abilities, which made me win before anybody else, because they kept on going back and forth at the end.
What's your final review on it? What do you think? Well, let's say out of 10.
Out of a 10, I would give this a 7.5, maybe an 8, depending on who you play with and if they enjoy chaos. Because if you enjoy a more chaotic, randomized game where you can't perfectly strategize the perfect outcome, this game is perfect.
It's an excellent filler game.
Yes, definitely.
And I was close where I'm at a 7, but I rarely ever rate anything higher than 8. So if I like the game, it's above a 5. So a 7 is good. I like it, and it is what it's hate to say that old trope. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's the game to play in between other games.
Yes, and I hope you all enjoyed learning the game of Gravwell 2nd Edition. And we will see you all next time. I'm Christomatic.
I'm the Bear.
Make sure to have a good morning, good evening, and good night. Bye-bye.